If you're in midlife and you want to transition to a fitness lifestyle, this episode is for you. My guest today is Kelley Workman. Welcome to the show. She's got an outstanding track record, and as long as I've known her, she has always been in outstanding shape.
I started working out when I was 14 years old, and my love for working out and exercise has just been that way my whole life. I weigh about 110. I try to eat 140 grams of protein every day.
And you're getting north of 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight,
yes.
Correct? Let me ask you this. You have about an 8-hour window in which to consume 140 grams of protein. How do you do that? Are you eating protein every 2 hours? What are you doing?
The key is...
Welcome to the Lee Labrada Show.
Brought to you by Lean Body, the #1 protein shake in gyms across America.
Welcome back, you guys. As you know, the goal of the Lee Labrada Show is to help you improve physically, mentally, and spiritually. And I like to bring on experts that can help all of us to improve in these areas. My guest today is Kelley Workman of Kelley Moves, a Houston-based company that specializes in helping women and men who are over 40 improve their health, fitness, and strength. So if you're in midlife and you want to transition to a fitness lifestyle that will help you stay strong and healthy as you get older, this episode is for you. Kelley, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I'm glad that you're here. Guys, I've known Kelley for over 30 years. In fact, she's my sister-in-law, but she's here today because she has a wonderful passion for getting people into great shape, and she's got an outstanding track record with helping her clients succeed. She's also a mother of 6 children, a successful businesswoman, and as long as I've known her, she has always been in outstanding shape. In fact, she competed in the Miss Olympia Bikini Amateur at one time. But Kelley, you can tell your story better than I can, so will you share that with our viewers?
Sure. Well, I started working out when I was 14 years old. I went to a karate gym that was down my street, and they had a squat rack and a couple of machines, and I fell in love with it that day. The guys were helping all of us girls squat, learn how to do it. And it's just been that way forever. I met my first husband at the gym at President and First Ladies, if those that remember that club.
Oh, yeah. We remember presidents.
Yeah, he put his foot on the scale to make me weigh more. I said, oh, what a jerk. Right, get out of here. But my love for working out and exercise has just been that way my whole life. So you have Kelley Moves.
Yes. And how did you go about starting Kelley Moves? What moved you to start Kelley Moves?
Perfect. Well, I was in commercial real estate. I've been that way in that business for a while. And during the pandemic, we were all working from home and doing things like that. And I still worked out and I was doing everything I needed to do. But I have a lot of friends that were really sedentary during the pandemic. So they were asking me, hey, can we work out together? Can we come to your house and work out? Let's go for a walk, right? Whatever. And I started thinking, I really can help people with this. So I started helping people.
Right.
And it just kind of progressed from there. One of my sons works in my real estate company. And as he became more proficient in the job, I'm like, well, I can kind of back away and let him have over some of my clients, and I can really pursue this. Fast forward, I'm a member at Lifetime Fitness in Greenway, and I was taking Pilates there. The lady knew I was a Pilates certified teacher. She's like, hey, I really need help. Pandemic, no employees, right? Can you teach? I'm like, oh, I don't really want to teach. So I did start teaching there, and I really loved it. I loved meeting the people. I loved teaching again. And it just kind of snowballed from there. It was personal training there. And as all things, good things have to come to an end. And I could really do it on my own and my own pace, and not the pressure of a big corporation, right? Really do for my clients what I feel they needed to have done, not what the corporation was kind of making me, do certain ways, right?
Right.
And so I just started with one client, and now I'm with about 30 different clients, and it's fabulous.
It's going great.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you this, just going back, just a little rewinding just a little bit. So you're in commercial real estate, and you have to make that big decision to jump into the fitness world. So what were some of the concerns that you had? What were some of the things going through your head?
Well, what about the money? How can I not sell things? My whole life I've been a salesperson. Right. I don't know what else to do. How can I do this? But really the biggest concern was, am I doing the right thing for my family? Right? Am I making the right choice? And then I have to step back. Most of my children are older, and I have to realize, what do I want to do for the second half of my life? A lot of my friends have people their kids are going away to college and things. My own kids are going away to college and or out of college. So I'm thinking, what do I want to do? What do I want my second show to be like? I have the option to choose. I'm blessed. I made good money in real estate, and I can figure out what is this going to look like for me? So I was really more concerned, am I doing the right thing? And then it was more, what do I really want to do? And I always loved working out. For me, it's just like taking a shower. I mean, I don't have to think about it. I enjoy it. I love it.
You've been doing it a long time.
I have.
Okay, you've been doing it since probably well before your 20s.
Yes.
How has your exercise routine changed since you were in your 20s?
Well, of course, in the beginning, boy, you read all the muscle and fitness magazines, everything that you're supposed to do, and you're like trying to mimic all of it. So I think back when I was younger, I was trying to do everything that all the fitness models were doing, whatever that looked like. But as I've gone through menopause and I'm getting older, things ache and pains and injuries and things like that, I've really changed my method of exercise. I still do it. I still lift weights at least twice a week. I still get my cardio in. Now I'm adding in some HIIT training and some Tabata training. Things like that.
What was that called?
Tabata training.
Tabata training.
Or maybe I'm rowing for 20 seconds all out. Rowing is my drug of choice. You can cycle along the bike.
You love rowing.
I love rowing. I can get my heart rate elevated quickly that way. Okay. So it's hard as I can go for 20 seconds, rest for 10. Hard as I can go for
literally stop, rest for 10.
Stop for 10 seconds.
Okay, then just
another
20.
Pull it hard as I can.
Almost like sprints, but
almost like
on the
sprints.
rower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I'll do that for usually 20 minutes straight.
Okay.
So I'm getting 18, 20 reps in, just depending on how much I can go.
Wow.
And I'm exhausted by the end. I try to do that. I was doing it once a week.
Are you doing it primarily for your heart? Because that seems to be in the aerobic range. But I guess there's a lot of fat burning too.
There is. I'm really not doing it for fat burning. What I have learned as I've gotten older too is it's great to do cardio for fat burning, but really I'm doing cardio for my heart.
For your heart.
I'm lifting weights for everything else. I'm trying to keep my muscle mass on as much as I can. So really cardio is for my heart, to keep all my vascular systems working optimally.
And you find that the sprinting, so that what we would call high intensity cardio, right? You find that works best for you.
I do. And there's a lot of research now actually about it. I know that we both like Peter Attia and several of those people. And there's a lot of research coming out about adding in some kind of HIIT workout at least once a week. They're doing 3 times a week to keep your blood-brain barrier strong, keeping that blood flow vigorous there. As we age, it declines rapidly. Even if we think, oh, I'm lifting weights once a week, I'm doing these things, it's not really enough. You're not getting your heart pumping enough like you did when you were in your 20s and 30s, where your blood-brain barrier was very strong. As we get older, it's kind of like jelly, and it just keeps getting weaker and weaker unless we force that blood to go through it at an accelerated rate.
Isn't it amazing, though, that what we're discovering now is that exercise can actually keep your brain functioning, at an optimal state for much longer, and there's studies that show that it mitigates dementia and the onset of Alzheimer's and stuff. It's just, to me, it's amazing. We were talking earlier about measuring certain blood lipids, apolipoprotein E, I think, is the one that we were talking about, and its correlation to Alzheimer's. Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, I do. So it's well known right now because Liam Hemsworth came out, right, because he's got the double E allele, double 4E, which is, 79% chance you're going to get Alzheimer's. I have the single E allele. It's like 42% chance. And so all the research that's come out about that now after I got the test, and I've been really researching it, right, to find out, well, what can I do? What to prevent it? I'm really healthy. All my markers are great, but what else can I do? Exercise is the number one thing. And getting your heart rate up at a high intensity level 2, 3, 4 times a week is one of the best things, besides, like we talked about, fish oil, for your brain. That blood-brain barrier is critical in all these functions of all these neurological disorders.
So the high-intensity exercise, let's touch base on the fish oil, because as both you and I know, taking in sufficient fish oil is something that can help to mitigate the onset of Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm. It is. And also, it helps lower those triglycerides too, right? So it's a double whammy. Take it for both things.
Sure.
But the blood-brain barrier is so critical, as I understand it through all the things I've been watching and reading about it, is the holes become so tiny. They're microscopic when the barrier starts to leak. You may be in your 50s and you don't notice it. You may be in your 60s and don't notice anything. You have no signs of Alzheimer's or no signs, but it's there and it's happening. So the earlier you can take your fish oils high, they say now the pharmaceutical dose, if you were taking it, is 4 grams a day, which is a huge amount if you're measuring it in grams.
It is, and it's something that I've been doing for years. I'll take the liquid fish oil because the fish oil capsules, you almost have to take a handful of them to get that gram dosage. But if you take a couple of tablespoons of actual fish oil each day, it meets that amount. Now, you had mentioned earlier that when you first started out, you were doing everything that the fitness models and Muscle and Fitness magazine were doing in your 20s. How's your diet changed? How's it evolved over the years?
Yeah, I mean, come on, I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. Everything he did, you had to do it, right? Pumping iron. My diet's changed a lot because back in the day, I would eat 6 times a day, 7 times a day. I was religious. I never missed breakfast. I never did these things. As I've gotten older and gone through menopause and all the changes that happens with that, I have really been more on a window of eating that has changed. I won't eat my first meal till noon, and I will finish eating by 8.
So is it intermittent fasting?
Intermittent fasting.
Okay, so you're a believer.
Yeah, well, it works for me. It doesn't work for everyone. It doesn't work for all my clients, but it works for me in the respect that I am able to have plenty of energy in the morning. I have my black coffee in the morning, and I eat sometimes around 11. I'll eat 11 to 7 or 12 to 8.
And you're not starving until...
Absolutely not.
You feel great.
The key is, although when I was younger and I measured everything, my protein and my vegetables, all my things, now I'm really protein focused.
Okay.
I weigh about 110, 108, 110. I try to eat 140 grams of protein every day.
How many?
140.
And you're 110 pounds.
I'm 110 pounds.
Okay.
And by doing that, in the last 12 months, I've been able to put on only 1 pound of muscle. And I'm lifting 3 times a week.
Right.
I'm cardio. It's so hard as you get older because sarcopenia is happening, right? You're losing muscle.
Right. And sarcopenia is muscle loss for you guys. The important thing there is to get enough protein. And you're getting north of 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, correct?
Yes. I try for 90% of the time I'm getting that. I go on vacation, I'm traveling, I may wean off and not get it, right? But most days I'm trying to get 140 grams, which before, as I was younger, I really wasn't that focused. I was more, here's a cup of this or this, not really paying attention to the actual grams of everything, right? Now I'm completely focused on that. And I'm really trying to get it through food. I'll have 1 protein shake or scoop of protein powder a day. Otherwise, I'm getting it all through food.
So let me ask you this. Because you're doing this intermittent fasting, you have about an 8-hour window in which to consume 140 grams of protein. How do you do that? In other words, how do you structure it? Are you eating protein every 2 hours? What are you doing?
Well, I'm not really doing it by the hour mark per se, but when I break my fast, I usually start with, I have a green drink that I love to drink. It's all just delicious greens, kind of taste chalky. But anyway, then I'll put 2 scoops of collagen protein in that. That's about 30 grams right there when I put it in.
Okay, so you're counting the collagen.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I drink that immediately. That's how I break my fast, with that drink. About an hour and a half later, I'll start eating food. Okay. Just because I'm usually training someone around 12, so I'm not like at a kitchen. Right. So I'll start with that. So that's about 30 grams right there. I start my day. Okay. And then every time I eat, I'm 30 to 40 grams. Okay. Sometimes if I'm in a pinch, I haven't got enough, I'll make my oatmeal with my Labrada protein powder, and I'll put my 20 grams of yogurt in there too, and that's like 50 grams on that thing, and I'm like stirring it up. So it just depends on how my day is, panned out that day. Right, right.
So let me ask you this. Obviously you have a very busy day. How important is meal prep to you, and how do you go about doing it?
I prep every Sunday religiously. I'm at the grocery store Sunday morning before they get busy, and I've planned it out for the week. I do it for my whole family just because it's easier for all of us. Everyone is busy.
That's like cooking for an army, Kelley.
It is, but it's good to, I cook all the protein in the week, and I have whatever vegetables I have in the veggie freezer, right? So then if you're hungry, go in and scoop your meat out, or if it's steak or whatever it is that week, grilled chicken, whatever, you just scoop it out, measure it, and then you heat it up. It takes 5 minutes. It's way easier to do it that way.
That's the way to go about it, and I've always lived by that. In other words, the meal prepping, because if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail, right?
That's right.
You got to have it. You got to have it ready to go, because if you don't have food ready to go, then you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You're going to eat whatever.
And then you're going to have excuses like, oh, well, all I had was this in my pantry. And everything in your pantry that you can eat quick is all full of carbs, no protein, right?
Qualifying
That's
everything.
Right. So you have to just prepare. But pick one day a week. Some people don't work on Wednesday, so then Wednesday may be your meal prep day. Right. One day a week, you've got to cook the meats, all the proteins for that week, so you can be successful.
And then, obviously you can put it in single-serve Tupperware containers, or, even freezer bags, throw it in the refrigerator, throw the rest of it in the freezer, take it out as you need it. Yep. And then and you're set for the day. Do you take supplements? And so which ones do you put your clients on?
I do. Well, I like all of my clients to get great blood panels first. They're always, I said, let's not take anything until we see what is really happening, right? What does the doctor show us through the labs? Typically, most clients I have need magnesium so bad it's unbelievable. I take magnesium myself, vitamin D, I take a B complex, I take tons of omega. I take a red yeast rice. I started taking that recently.
Okay, and that's for your cholesterol?
That's for cholesterol. Okay. Yeah, and it's mixed with CoQ10 because when your cholesterol gets high, your natural CoQ10 goes down. So it's mixed with that already, so I don't take a separate CoQ10. Okay. I take collagen. I take protein powder, usually once a day. Right. And I think that's about it. I do take a thyroid. I have a thyroid disorder that I take that from the doctor, but that's about it otherwise.
Speaking of hormones, that's a really important thing to have balanced as we get older.
Oh, yeah.
You know, whether you're male or female, you need to get a comprehensive panel of all of your key hormones and make sure that they're at youthful levels.
Absolutely. And I think that people don't do that enough because they're afraid what the results are going to be.
Right.
And I would agree, 30 years ago, maybe I might be more scared, right? There wasn't enough technology. Nowadays, when you get the blood work back, there's so many therapies and things you can do to help mitigate and have a nice long life, right? Versus waiting until you're 70 and realize, oh, I've been deficient in this whole time. Now I have, you know, my bones are weak or whatever. And so I just think there's a lot of things you can do if you are proactive.
So we talked about bones, and bone density is a really important one as we get older. And one of the things that has been shown to help with bone density is resistance training.
Yeah.
You know, so how many sessions a week for you are resistance training? How many are cardio?
I typically do 2 to 3, depending on how my week is going. I try to break it up to 3 different bodies, but I know if I'm going to be really busy, then I'll cram it into 2 days.
Right.
But at least 3 days a week is what I like to do. Cardio, I try to additionally walk about 3 extra miles every day, whether that's walking my 7-year-old to school back and forth or whatever, but I'm walking at a vigorous pace, besides doing regular cardio.
Are you one of these 10,000 step people?
I am. And I know that's just like a number out there, but
hey, it's a good number.
But I wear my Oura ring, so it really, what this has helped me in the last...
Tell me about that.
Yeah.
Does that measure your steps?
Oh, man. In the last 2 years, I started wearing it. And I don't drink a lot of alcohol, but I like to have a glass of wine now and then, right? But my sleep kept getting messed up, right? And so I wore a Whoop for a while because Joe Rogan loves the Whoop. So I wore that. I didn't love the way it fit, so I got an Oura ring. It's the same type of device.
Okay.
This measures your sleep, your deep sleep, your REM sleep, your steps, your exercise, your resting heart rate, everything.
How long have you been using it?
2 years.
And you love it?
I'm obsessed. I make all my clients buy one.
Okay.
And they have a new thing.
endorsement.
Like, it is, because if nothing else I've done in my life is get good deep sleep, it has fixed that
And
problem.
do you wear it all day long?
24/7.
Okay.
When I get in the shower, I put it on the charger.
Okay.
When I get out of the shower, I put it back on. I don't leave without it.
And it measures all those functions which you just mentioned.
And a lot of times you begin wearing it and you don't like it. You're like, I don't want to wear this anymore. It's telling me all things I don't want to know. But it's trying to help you. Resting heart rate is critical to getting good sleep.
Yes.
The lower it can go is a big marker for you. You know, if you've had a late meal, you drank too much alcohol, maybe you're on vacation, maybe you worked out 8 days in a row. That's too much.
Yes.
Your body's too inflamed. You need to recover.
Yes, very good.
So it's very important.
So you watch inflammation.
Absolutely.
Okay. And we're finding out that inflammation is the underlying root cause of a lot of these chronic diseases that we experience as we get older as a society.
It's true.
So you got to watch those things.
Yeah, and I think that, again, like you asked earlier about when I was younger versus older, back in the day, I worked out 7 days a week. I was in the gym all the time. I would never not be in the gym 2 hours at a time.
Right.
Now, if I can get in and out in an hour, I'm happy. I'm not trying to be in there 2 hours. I'm not trying to kill it. I want to get in and get out. If I can be 45 minutes, that's what we're doing.
Yep. I get in there for an hour of weight training, and then on the in-between days, I get in there and I basically do cardio.
Yeah.
So every day I move, because I think that's important, to move your blood around.
Yes.
Let me ask you this: as we get older, what do you think some of the key body parts and areas of emphasis should be?
I find a lot in my clients, which I was really surprised, we talked a little about earlier, is how weak people's quads are.
Yes.
It's so interesting that they'll do everything they can not to use them to stand up and do things.
Right.
And I live by the philosophy, if you can't get up and down off the chair,
Yes.
it means you can't get up and down off the toilet. It means you can't, when you get older, what are you going to do? You're going to need a wheelchair.
You absolutely.
So I feel like if you don't focus on the quads and doing it right, so they don't hurt their knee, hurt a good ankle range of motion, all these things, this is like a survival mechanism. So I think squats, number
squats
one.
are critically important.
Number one, squats, lunges. I love to strengthen core, whether they can do planks or I do Pilates, whatever that is. Your core, your trunk is so important, front to back and side to side. People have weak backs. They have weak upper and mid traps. So then they have this humped over position, right? They don't have good posture. So a lot of muscles.
Let's talk about the heart, arguably one of the most important muscles. And so where the heart is concerned, is there a certain range that you shoot for, in terms of your, beats per minute when you're exercising? And what kind of resting heart rate are you shooting for?
Well, I personally, and most of my clients are my same age group, I shoot for try to stay in zone 2, which for me, my age, my weight, my cardiovascular conditioning is around 160 beats, 155, 160, 62.
That's zone 2.
That's zone 2 for me.
Okay.
Everyone is different. My clients, they need to wear their heart monitor either on their arm or they wear some device so they can monitor their own, because what works for me will not work for them, right? Because we're all totally different and you need to pay attention to what works for you. Heart rate monitor is the best way to do it. Zone 2 is really, I tell them, if you can talk to me, but it's kind of labored, but you can get it out, that's the basic Zone 2, right? Without having a monitor on.
That's the point where you're trying to keep them.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of, I think we talked about this before, balance between weightlifting and cardio. Do you recommend the same thing for your clients? Couple times a week on the weight training, couple times a week on the cardio, that kind of thing?
I do. Most clients I have, I only weight train them twice a week. Okay. They will do cardio. It's enough to me. It's enough because they're going from 0 to 60. Okay. They're not competing.
Right.
They're not a triathlon. They're not looking to run a marathon. They're just trying to look to put some muscle on. They have to learn how to eat first, so then we can work out.
Yeah, and that can be a real challenge.
It is. So those two things on that's a lot for somebody.
Yeah, you're re-educating.
Yeah, and just convincing them, because it's hard. They're immediately, I can't eat that much protein, I'm going to get so fat.
Right.
Immediately they're worried. And so it's a long process to get someone to understand. So I love the in-body scales. I don't know if you're familiar with that, where it's kind of like body composition. It's just a good guess. Right. But it kind of lets them see this is how much muscle versus body fat you have. Let's work on changing this composition, right?
Lean body mass versus scale weight.
That's right. That's right. Because everyone likes to go on the scale and like, oh, I've lost 3 pounds. I'm like, it's 3 pounds of muscle. That's the wrong.
That's the wrong kind of weight.
Yeah. But you don't know that unless you're educated, right?
That's right.
So that's kind of the population that I train, people that have, maybe they did aerobics back in the day, or they were running occasionally for exercise, that kind of stuff, or they were a cyclist, but they really didn't focus on their protein intake and their weightlifting. So twice a week weightlifting, we just break it up simple. 1 day's upper body, 1 day's lower body. We try to just hit it that way to keep it simple. So when they're traveling, they're not with me, they can keep it that way too. Very easy to do.
So as far as your clients go, what if they have physical limitations? Let's say that they've had a surgery and they're recovering, or they got some kind of a chronic condition that they're battling. How do you take those things into consideration?
Well, I do. I have a kidney transplant lady that I train. I've got a gentleman that needs a new knee replacement. He's very bow leg. It's really bad. So we just work within those parameters. My kidney transplant person, she can't eat more than 60 grams of protein. She weighs about 140. You're right. So we have to manage in certain ways so it works with her nephrologist, right, and what she's allowed to do. But she's able to get her cardiovascular training in and still trying to lose some of that body fat while maintaining her muscle. Same with the knee client. We don't do squats ever in the front position. We do reverse lunges, so where all the weight's shifted back. We can't do front squats. His leg is so bent out, he cannot squat down. Okay. But he can lunge back and release it that way. So you just work on the parameters that they have.
Right.
You're not trying to force it. Again, they're not 20 trying to compete somewhere. They're just trying to get stronger.
How do you build up their confidence to try things, to push the envelope a little bit? Because, and especially when you're dealing with an older demographic, a lot of times you'll tell them, why don't we try this? Oh, no, I can't do that.
Yeah. Well, I try to help them remember, like, let's just try it once.
Right.
Like, you don't want me to have to get you a wheelchair. We have to try it once. Let's just try one time. As soon as you say the word wheelchair or walker, they're like, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, well, if you can't try this is where you're going. Yes. It's a fact. I'm not making it up. It's just look around you. That's what it is. Right. And so usually, and I also don't start off on the hardest thing, right? Let's give them some confidence. Like, okay, we could do this bicep curl. Look how great. Watch your bicep move. I'm really big into mind-muscle connection, right? I'm not putting the weight here and not lifting the weight. I'm watching your bicep lift the weight. Stop looking at this in your hand. Right. Helping them be connected to it.
And feel it.
And
correct?
Feel it.
Yeah.
So once they get that confidence that they can do that, everything shifts.
Yeah. Now, let's go back to diet for a second. I've heard you say that you cannot outwork a bad diet.
Yeah.
And so how do you teach your clients that?
I mean, it's hard because when I say it, they're like, well, I eat steak and I eat this. I'm like, it's not that. You're just not eating enough of certain foods and too much of other foods.
Right.
It's really difficult. When I start initially every time, for 2 days, I want you to write down everything you eat and use Dr. Google. I want you to Google how much proteins are in those things. Most of them come back and they're like, I only had 70 grams today. I only had 50 grams. I'm like, see, so it's not me telling you, like, look, you're clearly not, you don't weigh 70 pounds. Right. You need more than that.
You need more than that.
So that helps them already convince themselves, okay, I need to focus. How can I get 90? They're at least shooting for 100.
Right. Do you find that it takes them a while, trial and error wise, in order to get up to that 70, 90, 100, 120 and build it up?
When I have a client that actually gets to that 120, 140, 150, if it's a guy, the texts I get are amazing. They're like, sun shines and, oh my God, I did it. So I'm like, okay, what did you eat that day? And let's reproduce that the next day.
And you notice a big difference in the look.
Oh, and they're stronger. I trained a gentleman this morning and he said, we've been training together for 4 months. He's like, okay, I can tell I am getting stronger. I can tell my shoulders. I can tell my chest. I'm like, yeah, just, again, you're 60. It takes a long process to get there when you've never done it,
So as I mentioned earlier, I'm fond of telling people that you have to move your blood every day. You know, and so I've heard you say that you have to move if you want to live. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. You have to get your blood moving every day. You know, we've in such a society nowadays where everything, especially since COVID, that is brought to us is on our app on our phone. We don't have to leave our living room. We don't have to leave our chair. We can sit the whole time and do whatever we want. Order food. We can order exercise on the TV and sit on the living room and watch them do it. You know, we don't actually have to do anything. So we really have to make a concerted effort to get up out of the chair, leave your house, leave the laundry, leave the chores that need to be done, and go and work out, whether it's at a gym, walking around your block. I mean, I don't care. You can go on your sidewalk and walk and do walking lunges and squats on your sidewalk. You know, there's no excuse that you just can't get moving. Even, I tell people in the beginning, 15 minutes a day. If you can dedicate 15 minutes, you're going to see a difference.
People have a lot more time than they realize if they cut out activities that really aren't producing, you know, any kind of results in their life. So what do you say to people that say, Kelley, I am too busy to work out?
Well, if you don't take the time now, you're going to make the time later going to the doctor. There's two options. Those are the only two options you have. Make it now and enjoy it and be healthy. Or go to the doctor and sit in the doctor's office for hours. That's what's going to happen.
That is very, very true. So what are some of the things that our viewers should look for if they're trying to find a personal trainer in their area?
I always say, look for someone who you would like to be like. What is your age group? You know, what activities have you done previously, that kind of thing. And then go interview them. Just like you interview someone for a job or anything else, interview them. See if your personalities match. Personal training is no different than that. You need to have confidence in that person to be able to train you without injuring you, right? Be paying attention to what you need, and you need to feel comfortable with them.
How do you figure out if they have the knowledge base to work with you?
I think most of them would offer you a session for free, maybe 2, or offer to pay them for a couple of sessions and just tell them,
try it.
Yeah, hey, look, I want to, you know, I'll pay you for 4 sessions. Let's see if we can work together and see how it works out. And you need to be mindful. I think that people just turn their power over to someone else because they don't want to think about it.
Yeah, and that's the wrong thing to do at the onset. You know, I think you have to interview them first.
Absolutely. You want to pay attention. If something's not comfortable, you need to say, hey, my knee, this is really hurting. You know, give them a good health history so they know if you've had a knee replacement or a hip problem or whatever, you know, so they're aware. And then see how it goes. A
good trainer can help you to save a lot of time. But what about those of us that are out there in the viewing audience that, you know, they may not be able to find a trainer or afford a trainer and they want to work out at home? Can you do this at home?
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many things on the internet right now and on YouTube that you can log on to. You can even, searching on YouTube, look up your age, women 50 plus exercise routine. There'll be thousands pop up for free. Try it. Again, using your common sense. Try and see if it feels good, what feels good to you about it, and just start doing it. I mean, moving anything is better than not moving at all.
And on that point right there, I want to just emphasize, you know, that to me, one of the keys to success has always been to just start. People are always thinking, you know, hey, when I lose 10 pounds, I'm going to go to the gym. No.
Yeah.
Go to the gym, start now, and you start losing the 10 pounds. But the important thing is to start, right?
Yeah, I think that also, right, I'm sure you've heard this too. People, I'm going to only eat salads for the next week, and I'm just going to train 7 days a week. And when you bite off so much, you can never complete it. Start small. Do something you can actually accomplish, right? Don't set the goal so lofty, you're just going to repeat the behavior. Do something, eat 15 minutes, walk outside. That's it.
Right.
Build on that from there.
Exactly. So I think that, you know, just building on what you said, that the key to a successful fitness lifestyle, because I think it becomes a lifestyle, you know, between the exercise and the nutrition, is to stack small habits one on top of each other, you know, and turn that into a daily routine.
Yeah, I really... When I take a new client, I'm interviewing them as well, right, to see if they're going to be able to do what I want them to do and how it's going to work out, because they're a reflection of me, right? Just I'm a reflection of them. So I want to know, what can I teach you that you can do forever, right? Whatever that may be. You may only need to work out once a week because that's all you have time. Fine. What can we incorporate in your daily life? You can work out once a week and you can do 2 days of cardio and you get your protein. If that's all you can do, that's all you can do. But I want you to do it forever.
You know, as you were saying that, the word I was thinking of was sustainable.
Yeah.
Like a sustainable lifestyle program, right?
Yeah.
So it comes down a lot of times to just, as you said, you know, finding something that you can live with and you can do, day after day, week after week.
Yeah, it's true because not everyone's a gym rat. Not everybody likes to go in the gym, in the locker room. They can't afford to go to the gym. You just got to find something you can do, and you can do it forever. I mean, as long as you want to live healthy anyway, right?
That's right. Kelley, any other things that you want to share with our viewers?
No, there's a lot of avenues out there for women and men. There's all kinds of retreats. There's all kinds of information, things on YouTube. There's no reason why in the day and age we live in now that you can't just start and get healthy. Watch your protein intake and just make it a game with yourself. Get your labs done. Find out what you need. Do you need vitamin D? Do you need B? There's so many lab tests to tell you all these things now. So you're not just taking supplements needlessly because your neighbor or your spouse is taking them. You need to find out for yourself. So I think just little things like that are very useful.
I totally agree with you. Where can our viewers find out more about you or contact you and follow you?
My website's kelleymoves.com. I'm based here in Houston. So you can look me up there. All the information's there.
Okay, great. Kelley, thank you so much. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Hey guys, help us to grow the Lee Labrada Show. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below and share it with a friend. And all right, you guys, get up, look up, and God bless you.
The Lee Labrada Show.
My life flashes right before me. Thunder from a distant shore. Voices in my head imprison me. Wanna hold me down, but I want more.